Hi guys. So this week you're working on the digraph W. W is a trickier digraph to use because you kind of have to just know when to use WH and when to just use W because they make the same sound. Whale is WH and walrus is just W. And that can be kind of tricky. You have to just kind of know when to use the digraph WH and when you're just supposed to use W. And I found a really cool story to read to you today called Whale Gets Stuck by Charles Fuge and Karen Hayes. And this story was brought to you by Scholastic, and I want to thank them for allowing me to read it to you today. It's just a fun story using W and W, and I hope you enjoy it, okay? Whale Gets Stuck. It was midsummer in the Arctic. The sun shone all day and all night, and the sheet of ice that had covered the sea all through the winter was melting and breaking into small islands. Whale loved the open sea. He dived down into the deep, dark water. Then he turned, thrust his tail as hard as he could, and swam back up to the bright surface. "Look at me," Whale cried, as he leapt out of the water. Fish looked up at Whale and quickly swam aside. He didn't want Whale to land on top of him. But slap! Whale landed right in the middle of an ice patch, and struggle as he might, he was stuck fast. "What am I going to do now?" he spluttered. Just then a group of animals arrived to help out. "Don't worry," said Walrus. "We'll soon have you back in the water." "Dolphins!" he bellowed. "Tip the ice from underneath and I will lever Whale off of the ice with my magnificent tusks." But Whale didn't move an inch. "I know," Puffin squawked to the birds. "Let's lift him off instead." The birds flew up and perched on top of Whale. "Ouch! Stop!" shrieked Whale as the birds tried to grip his slippery skin with their sharp claws. "It won't work," he sighed sadly. "I'm stuck here forever." Everyone gathered around Walrus, hoping he would have a bright idea. Meanwhile, under the water, Fish couldn't see what was happening up above, and he was getting worried. Why hadn't Whale come back below the water to see him? By now, a group of polar bears and seals had arrived to see what all the fuss was about. "That's it," said Walrus excitedly. "You seals can help push while I lever the Whale with my magnificent tusks, and the dolphins can tip the ice. That should do it." Talk about teamwork, huh? So the seals pushed, Walrus strained, and the dolphins tipped. But it was no good. Whale was still stuck fast. Poor Whale began to sob quietly. Suddenly, Norwall appeared. If Whale leapt onto the ice, then he must be able to leap off again. Perhaps he just needs a little jab from underneath, he smiled. He aimed his sharp tusk at the dark shadow above, thrust his tail, and thump! Norwal's tusk wasn't quite long enough. Whale was still stuck, and Norwal got a nasty bump on the nose. Meanwhile, Walrus had another plan. If the polar bear leaps up onto the edge of the ice and the dolphins tip the other side, then I will lever Whale with my magnificent tusks while the seals push. So the polar bears leapt, the dolphins tipped, the walrus strained, and the seals pushed. The ice moved slowly, tipped up, pointed towards the sky, and then splash! It fell back into the water, and a huge wave swept everyone clean off the ice. Everyone, that is, except Whale. As the day went on, the sun got hotter and brighter, and Whale was still stuck. The animals pushed and shoved until finally they gave up and lay hot and panting on the cool ice. Hey, I have a question for you. We know from our 3 states of matter experiment that matter can change form, right? Because Mrs. Rattel took water and boiled it and made steam, which was a gas, and I took water and froze it to make it hard and solid like ice. But do you remember that ice block that I popped in that balloon? Do you know what I did? I left it on my porch all day, and it was a sunny day. What do you think happened to that big ball of ice? It melted. I wonder if that could help our friend. Let's find out. Deep in the water, Fish peered upwards. At this time, he could see exactly what was going on. The heat of the sun and the hot, weary animals had begun to melt the ice. Fish could see that the ice was very thin. Above the surface, the tired animals had not noticed the creaking and the crackling all around them until crunch! All the animals were plunged right back into the sea, including Whale. You were right! Nice job! Whale was just about to leap out of the water with joy when, "Whale, no!" cried Fish. Whale remembered that his friend was still waiting for him, so with a slap of his tail, he dived under the water. See, waiting for him. And the 2 friends spent the rest of the day splashing beneath the surface together. The end. Now this story had whale that had the consonant digraph WH, but walrus was just W and water is just W. So my friends, as with many other things in the English language, when to use WH and when to just use W, you're just going to have to memorize it and know it, but the more you practice, just like anything, the better you'll get. I hope you enjoyed our story. I loved it that it connected to our experiment on Thursday. Have a great day today. I'll talk to you soon.